And welcome to our pool fans joining us from across the globe. Welcome to day 10 of the 2025 EPBF Predator European Championships. We are in the beautiful city of Tallinn, and this match being brought to you right now is the men's 9-ball last 32. And streaming on this table right now is the match between Mad Maximilian Lechner and the Spanish Jose Alberto Delgado. I'm Gethin Davis, and joining me in the booth today for the first time, and I'm very excited, is our dear friend across the pond, Eric Hallefson. How are you, Eric?
Good morning. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. We are here in the Netherlands, and it's we've just had our lunch here, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, looking forward to this one. Two world-class players. LECHNER to break first. Gonna make LECHNER a small favorite in this one as far as experience, but both players born and capable and on world-class status.
I agree, Eric, and both players have delivered very well in the earlier disciplines, and this is going to be a tough matchup today, but I think if you go on paper, Max would look to have the edge. However, as we know in alternate break 9-ball, anything can happen.
Strong break there from Max, achieving exactly what he wanted. One on the side, corner ball down. Bit of a tricky one here. It's come across two rails. Not really a follow, kind of like a half stun. It's always tricky to get the speed exactly right on those, but he's okay. He can draw out of this angle.
I think both players, Eric, have had a bit of time on the TV table earlier in the past 10 days, and I think they have got to grips with this cloth. So interesting to see how they come out the gates.
Yeah, it's a good point. We're kind of deep into the tournament now, and both players have definitely felt out the conditions. So expect a high-level match here.
Well, a good break by Max here, Eric, and he would be loving the look of the pattern ahead of him here, and to take the first rack with his break, which is the ideal start.
Yeah, with these breaking rules and these racking rules, you would expect pros to be on maybe around 40% break and run percentage. Pretty offensive breaking rules. Of course, a lot depending on the first shot. But if the breaks hit properly, you'd be expecting around 40% break and run percentage.
Well, that's our first break and run. I wonder how many we're going to be treated to, and I was just, while we have a little look at Jose Delgado, I have had the pleasure of commentating on an earlier match of his, and he is not daunted by the prospect of the more, should we say, well-known European pool players. However, I think in his circles, he's just as well known, to be fair, Eric.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you know, a little bit overshadowed by Ruiz and Alcaide as far as Spanish players, but put him around number 3 as far as international players from Spain. And yeah, I did an earlier match of his too, and played well. Ended up losing on the hill, but did everything he could to fend off another world-class player. I can't remember the name, I apologize, but yeah, I mean, he's up and coming around 785 Fargo, right there with the upper elite of it in the world.
He sunk
down, one ball taken across. Yeah.
I think it's a foul break, Eric.
It is, yeah. Caught it a little too thin there, and that'll kind of trend into being not achieving the 3-point rule on the break. So LECHNER with the first chance here in rack number 2.
Yeah, bit of a gift for Max, and just interesting to point out to our new viewers or those joining us for the first time that we are playing this 9-ball tournament with the 3-point rule, and that means that if 3 balls do not pass the head string, it will not be classed as a legal break, and for each ball you pot, that takes away the need for one behind a need for getting it in the kitchen. So although Delgado potted the 1 ball successfully, he did not get 2 balls into the kitchen, and he gives advantage back to Max. What do you think about that shot, Eric?
He went for it. How would his position have been? It would have been okay. Tricky, long, thin distance pocketing. Missable. Bit of a two-way element, which he achieved. Tough to care for Delgado.
Well, he took a nip of it, Eric, but it did not drop.
Yeah, tough contact there. I mean, hit it in the way you wanted, and you can kind of see the bow of the head returning to the chair. Tough one there for Delgado. It was left over the pocket, and a chance for Max to take a 2-game lead here. He's having a close look at what the angle is between the 6-8. I believe he can see it, but he's having a real close look. Probably which part of the ball I can see.
Is he looking to play
another angle?
Maybe cushion first, Eric?
Kind of looks like it, yeah. I think that part of it is just about getting over to the left side of the table. He can possibly take the 3-9 going forward in the rack. Oh, yeah, the 8's blocking a good part of the 2 there.
He still doesn't seem to be completely comfortable, but he did play that one very well to get shape on this 3.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a bit worried about where the cue ball is going to go.
Yeah, a little in between here. Looks like there is enough angle to kind of draw out, but he's cueing high, so maybe room around between the 9 and the 8, and 2 rails forward. Mistake. I was just about to say mistake, but the ball's down. You saw the pocket there.
Yeah, and these tables you alluded to, Eric, they've been here a few days now. Will there be much difference for the players playing on them? They've been immaculately cleaned every day, these Predator Arc tables, but, they've seen a lot of play, Eric.
Good call. A weekend, same as any other table, they're going to be playing a little bit tighter than they were on day 1. But as world-class players, they'll take note of that. Just kind of be a little bit more accurate in their pocketing.
You've got to think Jose's a little disappointed there, making the 1 ball off the break, but giving away a foul break. It can sometimes just be down to a collision of a few balls. But Max got back to the table, and he's taken a quick march at a 2-0 lead, and his break, Eric.
Yeah, good start for Max here. Kind of funny for Max, even at the upper echelon end of things, he's a little bit overlooked when they're talking about the very best players in the world, but he's a U.S. Open runner-up. He's had many other good results in international competitions. I always like how he plays whenever I see him. He's kind of an underrated player, somewhere in the top 25.
Yeah, and You usually find him coming out with good performances, but at such high level now, the competition is getting tougher and tougher. So right now, he seems to be in prime position.
Yeah, well, that's a great point. And even a player of his capability, it doesn't mean that they're going to win two or three majors a year. There's 25 other players contending with the same ability as him. So, but put him in that upper echelon of world-class players, definitely, no doubt. On the two here.
I think there's a case to be made about the alternate break as well, Eric. It certainly does offer not just a little bit more excitement, but the ability for the opponent to shift momentum, and then it can come down to the battle of the breaks when you start getting up to the level of these players. I really do enjoy the alternate break. It's been very exciting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially with offensive breaking rules. If you're looking at the Predator Pro Series over in North America, with the hand rack, I mean, you're going to get a lot more exchanges between both players. But anytime you have offensive breaking rules, I definitely advocate for alternate break. Both players having a chance at the table.
Well, Max certainly looking like he's come out to play.
Yeah. Nice position there. Cubo's kind of running behind the 7, so he's taking a look behind or between the 5-7 now. Did you see his little YouTube clip with Charivari last week? I don't know. It would be random if you actually ran into that one, but I'll elaborate on it a little bit if you did see or didn't.
No, I didn't, but I do understand that Max and both Albin have just flown in from that direction for this tournament this week. So, please do elaborate.
So it was interesting. They just Max broke a rack, matchroom style, from the middle, and Charivari, who's for the fans at home, you can check out his YouTube page. A very accomplished instructor and someone who's really helped a lot for just overall instructing on YouTube. He broke a rack and he left the room, and Charivari called the rack. It wasn't an easy rack, a lot of different possibilities of as far as how to play it. So Charivari called every shot one way. Max came back into the room and he called it the exact same as Charivari. It was interesting, and they ran the rack, and of course it didn't go exactly how they called it. There was enough cue ball movement. There were some adjustments, but yeah, you can check it out. It'll probably be near the top of his page on the videos that were there.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I'd have to say that social media itself has been an absolute invaluable tool for both the players and Predator and the EPBF in being able to promote and perpetuate such events, and the players themselves. I find that it's really interesting to see what does and does not go viral, especially as a pool lover. And I have to say, just looking at Jose there, he's been sat in his chair for quite a while, and he's only seems to be getting up to break, and you feel he's got to start delivering now, Eric, already at this early stages of the game.
100%. So that's the flip side of alternate break. If you get stuck a lot of games in alternate break, it's kind of a mental. It's against you mentally, because you're kind of stuck those breaks to your opponent. So time to start here for Delgado.
Do you know? Eric, I don't even think he got 3 past the head string on that occasion either. He seems to be breaking very gently.
You're right. I assumed 2 passed, but he didn't pocket the corner ball. So yeah, it would have been illegal overall.
Well, a little bit of a mooch of the lips from Mad Max there. He maybe has just finished a little bit too straight on this one ball to make it work. May have to put a shot on this.
This is very tough. Yeah, just backed off on the speed there. I mean, there was an option to come around 2 rails and maybe over to the right side of the table, but playing with that much speed and left spin off the rail, he just avoided it. Likely looking for safe here. A lot of safes to keep the 2 balls playing into the 6. He's going to try to avoid that.
Yep, that's a very tidy shot. There was very, very difficult to get any position on that 2 for potting, and this is the best second prize you could ask for. And more importantly, Max is not giving Jose an inch.
Yeah, good play there, avoiding the 6, bringing the 2 up in the safe area.
No, didn't make it, Eric, and he has left what for these guys would be a relatively simple combination, but with that much distance between the balls, it always makes me twitch a little. Great camera view there, Eric, and that was a relatively simple way to steal this frame again against Jose's break. So it's looking like a quick match so far, Eric. If we've got something to say, we're going to have to say it soon.
Yeah, I'm going to start here for Delgado, and really nothing against him, but I'm going to have us back up against the wall for the rest of the match here.
You feel he's going to have to do something with his break there, because I don't think in either of his attempts he's even got a legal break. And you know, we're in the last 32 here, Eric, and he's no slouch. He should I don't know better, or is it just been 2 unfortunate breaks in a row? I don't know. The second one seemed rather slow.
No, I agree. I mean, you know, table to table difference, you know, tap balls, the ball should be racking reasonably consistent, but yeah, I mean, the number 1 order of business is you have to achieve a legal break, and I guess on the second one, if you included the corner ball, he would have been on 3, but definitely something to look at for Delgado. I mean, you know, first thing, you have to achieve a legal break for sure.
Well, it looks, Eric, like he's just taken his rest bite now, which gives him a 5-minute break, I believe. And if you look in the background, it's a little unfortunate to be meeting in the last 32, but nevertheless, there they are on our other table. And that's the all-finish affair with Petri Mäkinen against Kasper Matikainen. And that looks like that it's going to be an interesting game. Now, we have 28 beautiful Predator Arc tables here in the Kalevi arena as we take a look around. I have to say, and as it's our first time together in the booth, Eric, I really do like the starlit walls around the arena. It looks very, very pretty, but both professional as well. And with the new Predator Arc tables, they really do stand out. What do you think?
Yeah, I was commenting with George earlier in the week. It reminds me of like a concert at a stadium, or I was saying as far as North American terms, it reminded me of the Super Bowl, kind of like a Super Bowl halftime show. It's cool for sure. Something I've never seen on a pool stage before. It's nice.
No, and I don't know how much you've been able to watch of the live streams, but the one thing that has really tickled my fancy and hasn't been spoken about as much is the team events that they run here. The camaraderie, the cheering, the local favourites, the ups, the downs, the who's, the ahs. It's really been exciting, and something that I've yet to had the pleasure to commentate on until this European Championship from Predator. And it's been exciting, really exciting, and we still have a little bit more of the team action to go in the last remaining 2 days. So,
sure. Do you have any update on who's left or how many where we're at in that tournament?
I think I will go and have a look now. Currently, I'm just keeping an eye on...
No problem. Sorry to put you on the spot. But...
Nah, that's fine. I'm just keeping an eye on the both women's and men's 9-ball. But yeah, a little update on the teams will never go amiss while we watch Max break off for the 5th frame of a race to 9, looking down a 4-0 lead.
Look out for the legality here. There goes the 2. He's okay. I believe you can see the 2. Kind of natural position, but he's going to have to manipulate the cue ball between the 4-6 coming up table. Oh, he might not be able to see it. It's close.
Well, that will be unfortunate, Eric, as so far Max has broke and ran each time he's been at break, so this will be the first time we've seen a little tester for him, I guess, after the break. So this could be...
Yeah, pardon me. It looks like he's looking at short rail first here, or even to the point where he might push. Yeah, you can see from that camera angle. You can't see the pocketing angle here, so he's going to look at rail first. Nice shot.
Yeah, good cue ball, and there's kept the 6-ball in the way of the obvious pot if Jose were to go for it. So maybe looking to try and return the favor with a safer cue ball, and no better time than now to start making some moves and ask a few questions of Max.
Definitely 2 options here. You can try to line the cue ball up with the 4-9 or behind the 6. I think behind the 6 is kind of leading you into playing the 2 into the 9. But that won't hurt him too much because the 3 is blocking the side. Judgment call here from Jose.
Well, that looked full-blooded, Eric, as he was going for the double, I would dare to say. He's hit it at a pace which maybe has left the 2-ball in a difficult position. However, I think he went for the bank there, Eric.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a small, desperation maybe is the wrong word, but just kind of looking to get himself into the game and went for something offensive there. Did leave Max a tough shot here.
Yeah, Max just taking his time here. I don't think he can do too much with the cue ball where it is, so probably is having a little look at if that 8-ball is going to come into play.
Yeah, I think play the cue ball near where the 2 is now. Issue with that is that the cue ball will be coming around 3 rails towards the 4, and the 9 is blocking the most obvious pocket for the 4 if he does play that route.
Wow. He screwed back off that, Eric. That was a very impressive shot, and I think he's been fortunate here not to come up with the 4-ball in the way, so that was an aggressive shot in a tough position.
No kidding, I guess just kind of as we were talking. Yeah, great shot.
Oh. Was that a sign of brimming with confidence, screwing back so heavily into the 9? He's really left himself in a good position here as well.
Yeah, a little bit indicative of the score line, being a little more aggressive because he knows he's 4 games ahead. And again, with the alternate break format, maybe can be afforded a couple mistakes. So playing a couple aggressive shots here, and it's worked out perfectly for Max.
And Max will be very pleased to have, after not coming out so fortunate from his break, still getting back to the table and taking this, or at least looking in good opportunity to take this rack. But A little tilt of the head. He's going to have to do a little bit more work with the cue ball here. I think he's come up a bit short on that 8 ball.
Yeah, 3 rails around. 9 ball's comfortable enough for position, but exactly right. He would be just kind of more comfortable with the layup position here. Gonna have to move the cue ball a little bit.
Got a lovely bit of drag off the Simonis cloth there. We would call that back home a banana shot.
That's right. Cue ball bending a little bit.
Well, I have to say, Eric, this is looking rather ominous, and while we just wait for Jose to rack them, I wanted to just jump in with some team updates. Thank you very much for the question, and just to let you know that the quarterfinals of the team event will begin early tomorrow, and I hope that we'll be bringing some of them streamed for you. But just to let you know the highlights of who's remaining in the quarterfinals, we have Team Poland against Team Norway. We have the Portuguese playing against the Germans. We have Slovakia against Austria. And we have Ukraine against España. So, a lot of good matchups there. And the format there is singles, 8, 9, and 10. So each player in the team has a chance. And they pick their 8, 9, or 10 as we watch Jose break. A few more have gone behind the head string, but he's gone back to his chair.
Yeah, sorry. I kind of put Poland as an on paper favorite before that tournament started. Imagine Daniel Maciel is not even on the team. That's how strong that team is. Wojciech Szewczak, Konrad Shishin, and Mieszko Fortunski representing Poland in this year. But,
absolutely,
Eric. You got 10 world-class players from Poland, and when I saw their team lineup, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be tough to beat that team, and they're still in the tournament. 8 left.
Yeah, and each in their individual rights have been going very deep in the different disciplines this week, and Max just pushed out there.
Yeah, looks like he has the slimmest right edge of the 1 here. The 1 can play behind the 6-9, possibly cue ball behind the 2.
Well, we are having an enjoyable break from the break and runs. It gives us a little bit more to think about, and always the chance for the twist and turn, which Jose really needs. But Max has played that with a deft touch, and is really playing tight pool today and giving Jose not much of a look in. And take nothing away from Jose, he's a great player, but when you don't get any opportunity, let alone a good opportunity, it's really difficult to get your teeth back into the game when it's alternate break, Eric.
Yeah, well, that's a great call. I mean, he's stuck 5-0 now, but can you really point out a big mistake that he's made? Not really, and this is what world-class players can do if things go their way, kind of off their break. You know, illegal break from Delgado in the early parts and not making a ball on a second break. This is what can happen.
Well, that looks tight, Eric, but from this camera angle.
It has room.
Yeah. He elected to play the safe there, Eric, and keep turning the screw, and where that 6 is sitting, that might hinder his 2-cushion escape, but maybe not. There's a little bit of a gap. Still, he's not really giving him much at all.
Yeah, maintaining advantage in this rack. 2 rails, possibly hitting the top side of the 1.
Ooh, that's come out lovely, has it?
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, that was a very nice 2-cushion escape, and the cue ball has tracked behind the 7 and giving Max a tricky escape here.
Yeah, going to be some moving, some tactical play in this rack. Both players going to look to get below the 2 and get an angle towards the 3.
Wow. Well, a little tap from Max there. I don't think he expected to get such a good cue ball, but the one ball nearly went in. So this is a tester, but could reward. Oh, was a tough shot, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, had to add some right spin into the play. Kind of judging the bend of the cue ball over 9 feet, always tough. So Max here with the first offensive chance in this rack.
What do you think about the 3-5 there, Eric? Do you think he's going to need to get very accurate on the 2, or is he going to go no, I don't think he can go for it here, can he? No. Has it come far enough?
Not quite.
Looks to be eyeing up the bank shot, maybe?
Possibly. I mean, he's on such little angle going to the right that he has to consider that.
Wow. He has been making it look quite simple, but this could be a little highlight shot for us all, but this is a tricky shot, and the 5 ball will be moving. A little bit more difficult to judge the cue ball.
Yeah, tough one. So first half mistake from Max there.
Yeah, that's not a bad place to be, to have us calling out his first mistake whilst he's sitting at 5-0 up, but it is a good point to make, Eric.
Cue ball's safe of going in the corner pocket here, so Jose can just play high on the cue ball and come around 2 rails. But again, as you've been saying, after you've been sitting for this long, your offensive game is kind of out of gear. And that's what's happened there.
It just increased the weight of getting into your flow. And it is never nice. However, the alternate break has, or does rather, give him a chance to get out of the chair and get control of at least that rack. But he must be thinking he's not getting many rolls of the ball, and Max is amplifying that by putting him in safe positions, and you really have to be impressed with the way that Max has approached this.
Yeah, cue ball's running into the 6 here, so he's thinking about how he can manage the angle of the cue ball coming off the 6. If he gets over to the right side of the table, positive things can happen.
I just wanted to point out to you, Eric, in relation to you making the comment about Team Poland, they still have 5 players in this last 32. So if you were a betting man, there is a very good chance we will be seeing Poland, or rather the Polish players, get through to these latter stages. And if I get any updates on the scores from our other 27 tables around the arena, I will bring them to you while we watch Max bring the cue ball around 3 cushions for the 7, and these are all warning signs for Jose, I'm afraid, Eric, and you can't take anything away from Max here.
yeah, looking to extend the lead to 6 games between them, and again with the alternate break and being a favorite to put in some break and runs in those last 3 games. Max looking like a big favorite here, but really, as expected, a world-class performance from Max, and that's been the difference in the match. But yeah, Poland really coming into being one of the strongest countries in the world. I mean, strong national program, developing good players, kind of really coming from nowhere. I mean, the original players were Radislav Babica and maybe a couple others, but as the years went on, they developed players properly, and it's showing up not only in the European Championships this year, as you were saying, but also on the international scene.
Yeah, and I have to say, in addition to that, while Max extends his lead, I've had the pleasure of meeting many of the Polish players at other tournaments in and around Europe, and they are fun off the table. They know how to enjoy themselves. They're not afraid to get involved, and they're always a joy to be around. And they back it up with some serious pool as well. But to be fair, when you're that good, well, the quality that you find them players, if they find themselves with their only practice partners as each other, they can only get better and better, to be fair.
Yeah, and you can see them at the international tournaments too. They come on and support each other at each match, and I really feel like it's a team unit. I know what you're saying. I haven't been around them personally as much, but times when I've seen them at tournaments and they're kind of going out to lunch together, that type of thing, it all plays a part in the overall result. And, yeah, they've built a great program over there.
Well, a little scrappy break there from Max, and I'm wondering if we're just starting to see a little chink in the armour as we move into the latter stages. I've noticed that's probably the first time we've had a really difficult cluster down there. However, I'm sure the 6 would pass that 9 if he were to get that side of it. So Jose's at the table in a very rare instance and has shape on the 1. Maybe time to let that arm flow, Eric.
Yeah, first real solid offensive chance here, 7 games in. We'll see how Delgado can manage this. Keyball's kind of playing into the top right here, but there is room between the 5 and the rail.
Yeah, I have to agree, this is a solid chance, but he's just looking down at that 6-7 combo there, and from that great camera angle, thank you production guys, you can see they're locked. So either he needs to be extremely particular, or maybe he's going to have to get into them at some point.
Yeah, I don't mind playing some angle on the 5 and getting up the right side of the table. Kind of playing the 6 into the same pocket as the 3. I mean, you can really be on either side of the 5 here. I think he'll could actually favor the short side the way the cue ball is laying on the 4. Looking like he's going to go back to the long side. Just doesn't want to land straight on the 5. Enough angle here.
I think you got a nice little kiss there, Eric. Maybe he's starting to feel things are swinging a little bit more his way, and I don't think he's straight. Is he, Eric? I'm not too sure.
Enough angle to develop something. I mean, straighter than he'd like. But he is having a look at where he wants to be on the 6 going up table here.
Well, I have to admit, Eric, as a player who does not play anywhere near the levels of these guys, I would always be worried about where my cue ball is going here.
Yeah, I think it can beat the scratch by just call it a cue ball to the left of the corner pocket. second issue here is the speed because of the thinness. Oh, he's going to draw it.
I'm just wondering if Max cannot see that. He's going to go airborne here, and we'll, for the first time in this race to 9, we'll see one of the players get their jump stick out, and these guys can sometimes make it look as easy with the jump stick as they do with the regular stick, so it's a bit tricky.
Yeah, if he gets a little draw into the cue ball, there's some room over by the left long rail, and the shot actually could go to the middle. The cue ball would be a little looser in that case.
Eric, it looked like he jumped the cue ball, didn't settle before the object ball, and just hopped over the edge. He clearly was looking to cut that in, and I think if we get to watch this live stream back in the future, we may see that cue ball was on the right line, but it just hopped over the object ball, and it's a bit different when he's 6-0 up, but in some of our matches, as we've seen over the last few weeks, they can be the little things that can swing a match. However, as much as Jose's looking to start getting some numbers on the board, Max will not let that worry him too much.
Yeah, I'm just going to step out for a second here. I'm just a little bit behind the live feed. I'll let you know when I'm back.
No problem, Eric. No problem, Eric. And I will just, while you do step out and Jose puts his first rack on the board, I just wanted to give you a couple of updates with regards to the other matches going on. We have Mario Hay is playing against Michael Schneider, and Michael Schneider is up 6-3. We have one of the locals, Mark Maggi, against, as we alluded to, one of the Polish players, Wojciech Szewczek, and that's looking very close at 6-5 to Szewczek. But I can tell you now, Mark Maggi has been delivering some great performances this week. And just another highlight before we return to the match. Oh, it does look like Max has taken a break, so I'll just steal a few more latest results, or rather scores, out to you. We have the current straight champion, Tobias Bongers. He's 5-3 up against the second Spaniard in the last 32, Ika Andoni Echeverria, and Daniel Maciel is currently 5-2 down to Milos Milankovic, and we already have a result in, and for our Dutch viewers at home, they'll be rather happy with this one. This is Ivo Arts, and he's gone through very quickly with a 9-1 win over Daddy Gudmundsson, so he will be very happy with that. Maybe he had a lunch appointment. However, we look out into the stadium and we catch on our other TV table the Battle of the Finns, and I can tell you here that that is between Petri Mäkinen and Kasper Matikainen, and Petri is just in the lead at 5-4, and it looks like he's racking to break. So that one's a very close one, and I've been very impressed with both their performances throughout the tournament. When we get opportunity to, we will have a little look in the chat room to see if there are any questions coming in. But if you're enjoying our match today, and if you've been enjoying the streams, the live streams being brought to you by Pro Billiard TV, please do like, subscribe and share. And just to let you know that tomorrow is also a big day for us, with the finals coming to a conclusion. And with regards to the 9-ball today, we will be able to bring you matches through to the quarterfinals, and tomorrow afternoon we will have the semi-finals and the finals of the men's, the women's 9-ball, and I believe the under-23s and wheelchairs too. So it's going to be a busy last few days for us here, at the Predator European Pool Championships, and I hope you've been enjoying it so far. Here we find men's 9-ball last 32. Maximilian Lechner from Austria is playing Spain's Jose Alberto Delgado, and Max finds himself with a 6-1 advantage. And Max just taking his second break, and it sounds to me like we may even have Eric back in the room.
I'm back in the room, but I'm just a few seconds behind, so I apologize to anyone if my comments are a little off timing, but I'm here with you. Yeah.
Does that mean you're going to give me the rare opportunity of being able to get in there first?
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah.
Well, Max looks like he's just come back from his timeout, and it is Jose's break, and he's got one back on the board, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, a capable player, probably going to give him the number 3 player from Spain here. Let's see how the break goes. Again, dry, and again would have been illegal. I mean, not including the corner ball if it went down, but he's kind of having just a little look over as, what can I do on the break here? He actually has made one.
Yeah, maybe he did pot a ball there.
See that ball going? Yeah, didn't even see that ball going down. But he has made one, so he'll stay at the table here.
He still does seem to be dicing with death with that break, though, and I mean, we're in the last 32. You'd expect that he would have either been breaking harder by now, or maybe he finds that's just his sweet spot, but I can't help but feel that if it does go wrong, when you're playing the likes of Max and the other players around here, they will take advantage of that. So Max finds himself back at the table. He's got the opportunity here from the push shot to give it back to Jose or to take this on, and he's giving it a really close look, so maybe there is the slightest of edges.
Yeah, smart push by Jose there, kind of leaving Max with a decision. Really a question of how much you can see of the 1. If you can't see any of it, he'll be looking at playing the cue ball behind the 3.
Well, he's giving it back to Jose, and he's now left with the position he put himself in. So may have had something in mind. It looks like he might be coming off the cushion back into it. I'm not too sure. Oh,
he's going to... Good shot, just to over-swerve the cue ball a little bit. Looking to play the cue ball behind the 3 there. It was a smart 50-50 proposition from Jose. But
yeah,
again,
I thought it was good. Sorry, Eric. I thought it was good vision for him to look at being able to get enough of a bite on it to put the cue ball behind the 3. He was a bit unlucky there. And I think Max was looking to put the cue ball behind the 3 there and really stick Jose in some trouble, but this is a relatively simpler one to get out of, and I don't even think it's safe. I think the 1 has leaked out a little bit. Right. Oh, that's a tight gap. That's a very tight gap, sir. Ooh, Eric. He plays the double bank. Makes it great shape on the 2 ball, and has created a great opportunity for himself. Ooh. It may be a little too late, but I don't want to say that now. This would be an ideal way to keep himself at the table. He has the 6 ball down by the 5 ball here, so he just wants to pick exactly where he wants to get shape on this 5. Giving it a good look. Let's see what he does here.
I think I'm back in time here, but I'm still lagging. I apologize, guys. So I'm just going to leave it up to you, Geth, for a few
No
shots.
problem at all, Eric. As wonderful as this technology is that enables us to not only bring you these Predator live streams free, we still have to depend upon this technology for us to remotely commentate these matches, and it can be frustrating, let me tell you. There have been a number of technical issues that have hit us, but to be fair, you wouldn't know it to be watching at home. Our production staff seem to be on it so quick, and in the main it works fantastic. And if you can't be there with them, this is about as good as it gets. The cue ball's run on just a little bit, but he's still looking good. And Jose's getting a good bit of table time, Eric.
Yeah, issue with this shot is the cue ball's kind of running into the corner pocket. It's going to have to play like a soft stun to kind of get to the short rail, I believe. Elevated. It's going level queuing. Just straight enough to hold it. Good shot from Jose.
Absolutely, and from 6-0, Eric, Jose has brought it back to 6-2, and starting to hotten up a bit. And if Max was thinking that he was going to run away with this, he's sorely mistaken. And with this alternate break format, it just asks a couple of questions. Max opened up with a couple of break and runs and was looking like he was never going to give a chance off his break forever and a day. However, the last couple, Jose's seen a chance, or at least has got to the table, so it will be interesting. And as we watch Max break, I just wanted to point out for you, Eric, as you brought up Team Poland as your favourites, there are 3 players currently already through to the last 16, and 2 of them are Polish, Micko Fortunski and Konrad Juzishin, so amazing. Well, that's more like it for Max, as he maybe left a tricky 4-5 combo, but this is a lot better than his previous attempts.
Yeah, looking offensive here for Lechner. Biggest issue is he's going to want a proper angle on the 3 to kind of get back towards that 4-5. The angle he's looking on right now is pretty positive. This was the other angle, but it's kind of playing into the 6-7. I like the first one he looked at.
Oh, he's threading it through the gap, Eric.
Good shot. Just enough angle going to the left here that he can draw to the right side of the 8. Gonna have to play the right side of the pocket.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a stretch on, so he's using his cue extension. Ooh. Clearly wanted to miss the 8-ball there. However, he may choose to carom off the 4-ball into the 5. Maybe what he's looking at here. But the 4-ball's going to be running back up the table, and a little bit of unsureness where the cue ball will go. Well, it went the other way around, Eric. The cue ball came up the table and the 4 stayed there, so he's still in shape.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I felt like it was kind of playing up the left side of the table there, but did play some right spin. Tough spot here for Max. He can play the cue ball twice between the 8-9. Possibly towards the 6 and the side, but I would favor the corner.
Yep. That's a good play, Eric. I'm wondering how straight he's fallen on it, and if that cue sitting on the cushion is going to present him with a little bit of difficulty. He's jacking up.
Yeah, cue ball just playing a little too much angle on the 7.
Well, this would really snuff out the fire that Jose was starting to light there. And this is exactly what he'd be looking for. Being a race to 9.
Yeah, nice shot there from Max. I mean, you know, these world-class players make those shots look easy, but we both know, you know, try and elevate the cue and pocket a ball into kind of a, you know, it was an open pocket there, but still, you're talking 4 feet from the object ball to the pocket and just, you know, play perfect position. It's not as easy as it looks.
And there we have it, Eric. Max stops Jose in his tracks and regains a 5-frame lead at 7-2, and all good signs for Max there. Looking over at the other table with our finish lineup, as I mentioned while you were just refreshing your feed there, Eric. It was close, and it's still just as close, with Kasper Matikainen still leading against his countryman by 7 racks to 6. So, and both of these TV tables bringing you exciting pool action today. And Max looking serious, wanting to be through this now. Jose hoping to have other ideas.
Corner ball finally going down for Jose. Legal break. He's right on the 2. So this is the recipe he was looking for from the beginning of the match. Doesn't look like the 3 might not pass the 7 in the most obvious, or pardon me, the 4 might not pass the 7 in the most obvious pocket, but there could be room. If there is, he'll be on a decent roadmap towards running this rack.
He's not had many of them, Eric. To be fair, he's not had many of them at all. He has taken his opportunities when he's rarely had them. But he'll be looking forward to having such a good chance off his own break.
Yeah, good camera angle there of the angle with the 4 passing the 7. You can see it's not a full pocket. And whenever a ball's that far from the pocket, it makes it extra tough to kind of judge like certain parts. Might just have the angle to get over on the right side of the table, but if anything, the cue ball's kind of going to the left, so he's in a bit of a predicament here. He's looking at the full pocket angle.
Well, he was coming back in the right direction. If anything, he's come up short if he wanted to put it in the corner pocket as we see it from this angle, and as you quite rightly pointed out, that 7 could be frustrating him playing it in the other corner pocket, so you can see him having a little mutter to himself. Maybe he's going to be forced into a safety here.
Yeah, particularly moving the cue ball how he has to. It's not simple cue ball movement here. So I think favoring safe could be a thing. Go ahead.
I have to say, Eric, that in this level, you really want to get the cue ball closer to that 7, because Max won't think twice about jumping this, and I'm sure Jose wouldn't in the same position, so not necessarily the best safety he could have played, I feel, from that position. Max is going to go airborne, Eric. Made the jump.
Similar type of shot. Yeah, similar type of shot here for Delgado. 4 ball kind of playing into the 9. Nothing really off the right edge here. Really has to kind of go all in with the cue ball behind the 7 here.
Ooh. Well, I didn't see that one coming, Eric. He's gone for the bank, and he wants to keep at the table, and he's played a great shot here and finds himself relatively straight on the 6, which is probably just how he wanted it.
I think that's kind of scoreline indicative. You know, if it was game number 1 in the set, might not take on such an aggressive shot, but knowing that he has to make up 5 games here, went for it, and good shot.
And I feel, Eric, that Jose needed to get these chances and put this performance in earlier in this game, and I don't think Max will be too daunted with it being alternate break. However, for Jose, I feel this is good that he gets to show not only his fans and the viewers at home what he's capable of, but he's not out of it yet. 7-3.
Yeah, couple wayward rolls on the break. You can get back in quickly. I mean, if you're Jose, you have to think in your mind that you're going to break and run both your breaks, and really it only takes a mistake or something to go awry on the break for Lechner, and you can make up the deficit. Same as Max got ahead.
Well, Max will be looking to get 1 foot into the last 16 here by taking him to the hill. Well, a legal break. The 1 did not go in from the cut, and Max making a ball but leaving himself stupid on the 1 ball, and he's already looking at jumping rather than pushing, so this is going to be aggressive stuff, Eric.
Yeah, this is one of the rolls that Delgado needed. So we'll see how what the result is here for Max. I mean, he's going to go offense. Definitely tough jump combo. At least the 1 is reasonably close to the 2.
Great view of his bridge there, and makes the jump but not the combo. And you mentioned this is what Jose needed, and a little smile from Max, but I have to agree with you there, Eric. I think this is exactly what he needed, and his performance towards the end of the last rack coupled with this opportunity, and it starts to get a little interesting for us here in the commentating booth.
Sure. Open look here. Just taking note of the speed he hit that shot with, hitting it at the minimal speed, but while still hitting it aggressively, making the pocket bigger, making any chance of any kind of twist in the cueing action less. These world-class players do that so well, and it's something to really note.
Well, he's fallen lovely on this 3, and he will be looking to bring the cue ball down for the 4 ball here. And there's 2, maybe 3 options of how to do it.
Yeah, I like just following up the right side of the table here, keeping the position as natural as possible. Only negative with that is the 8 could kind of get in the way of the position. But I think maybe even 2 rails back, draw. 2 or 3 rails back, withdraw.
Yeah, he's played that with very nice pace to sit here on the 4. Coming off 1 cushion can always be a little tricky. Clearly passes the 9, so we'll look to come nicely up to the 7 here. One cushion, and Eric, you are on the money, sir. This is exactly what our Spaniard needs, and Max may be not used to sitting in his chair so much, but he might have to get used to it if Jose gets his way. So
yeah, gonna be Jose to break in rack number 12, so match developing here.
Exactly, sir. Yes, and as you alluded to, we'll be breaking our next rack. Jose Alberto Delgado brings the match back to 5-4, Eric, and as you said, it's livening up. This is what we like. Just wanted to note from our all-finish affair, there seems to be a result there, and Kasper Matikainen has bested Petri Mäkinen and makes it into the last 16, and Portugal can give a little cheer. João Grillo is through to the last 16 too, and Roberto Bato is through. Oh, and hot off the press, Sanjin Pelavanovic, who we've seen making great strides throughout all disciplines in this tournament, has made the last 16 too. It is livening up on the other tables as well, Eric, so this is great stuff. I do like a good bit of 9-ball. Fast and furious.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. 2 more rounds coming your way today for the viewers. So we're going to get down to the semifinals in the men's 9-ball and the women's 9-ball as well.
The 7's tracking. The 7's gone in. And it's a legal break, Eric.
Yeah, the only ball to go in. Not a likely ball, but the only one kind of saves him there. And he is on the 1. Pretty thin. So kind of path he can develop towards the 2 here. It's too thin. He's going to have to play safe.
Yeah, he keeps putting his cue over behind the 3 ball there. I'm wondering if he can slide off the 1 and bring the cue ball off 2, maybe 3 rails behind the 3, but he's got to be deadly with that shot because I think the 1 ball might not go up far enough. Well, he certainly made sure of the 1 ball, but sadly the cue ball did not make the 3 and wasn't able to take advantage of his break there. Well, certainly not so far, Eric, and I felt like having a legal break and having at least a shot on the 1, you'd feel he would have wanted to have maybe done a bit better there.
Yeah, definitely had a chance to lock Max up solidly there. Just a little off the mark. Max with the same opportunity now. A little bit in between here. He'd like to look to play the cue ball behind the 8, but the 1 is kind of playing into the 4 in that case. If he played the cue ball into the 4, the 1's kind of playing into the 9. So not easy here for Max.
No, he's not going to get it his own way here. And Jose can see this 1. Can he stick the cue ball? I feel it would put Max in a tough spot if he can.
Yeah, tough roll there for Max catching the point.
Yeah, the 1 cushion escape, Eric, and that 3 ball is very threatening. He may, if he plays this safe, Eric, come out also with a safety, so it'd be interesting how hard he hits this. That was close. We had the referee for that.
Yeah, legal hit, but great try. I mean, Max hit it in the exact way he wanted. A lot of the time, if you hit that part of the 1, you are going to make the 3. Bit of a tough spot there for Max. Both players having a little conversation about how close the shot was, but I think it was good. Jose can play the cue ball behind the 3 here. He's having a look at the cut angle. Nice shot. How's the cue ball going to end up? It's okay.
Yeah, the cue ball just clipped the 3 ball there, Eric, and was run down into a slightly more uncomfortable position for Jose, but you feel he's got to attack this, and it doesn't look like he needs to do too much to remain on the 3. No, that was a tough shot, in fairness.
It was. At distance with the object ball from the pocket, too. Some of the toughest shots on the table, those. I think Max will be looking to play the cue ball behind the 4 here. Almost
Yeah, very
there.
good pace. So Max showing good respect there, though, and not looking for anything flamboyant, and keeping Jose in a tough position, which is what he needs to do. Jose's got a lovely contact with the cue ball on the 5 there, and looks like he's in trouble. Gonna have to go airborne here, Eric, and a few other balls.
Yeah, kind of a turning point spot in the match here. If he does leave a chance, Delgado will be within 2. Big swing if he actually makes the shot. The favorites go 4 ahead. He's got a little bit of a roll here.
He has indeed, and Jose may be forced into a jump himself. Just see him having a look at that. There are other escape routes. Well, he made the jump, Eric, but he sold out in the corner pocket with the cue ball. It looked to me like he may have even jumped with his playing stick there, but our eagle-eyed viewers at home will probably be able to correct me on that if I was wrong. But yeah, unfortunate to sell out there, and Max with ball in hand.
Yeah, looking to get on the hill here, and just been plodding along since his 6-0 lead. But he'll be in good stead for the rest of the match now.
Just running through with a little bit of side to hop the cue ball out into the center of the table, and this is a A1 position.
Yeah, lots of room in the middle of the table here. Even if he has some angle going to the right off the 6, he'll still be okay.
Needs it to slow up a little, and it has perfectly. I don't think he was expecting it to run that long, but I'm sure he'll still take the result, Eric.
Yeah, I'll just have to catch up to you to comment, Gath. I'm sorry. Just 1 sec here.
Well, Max faced with the easiest of 9 balls for his first foot through the door, and Maximilian Lechner takes the hill early on in this race to 9. He leads by 8 frames to 4 against Jose Alberto Delgado, and I've just taken a little look at the other results coming in, and the last 16 is filling up nicely, and as you alluded to, we will be having the last 16 and the quarterfinals played here today, and I do believe that the next round should be on in about 40 minutes on these live stream tables. Just to let you know, we have Fabio Rizzi has made it through, Alexa Picelli, and Tobias Bongers has made it through too, so he seems to be having a fantastic tournament.
Yeah, I was taking a peek at the results over the weekend. He did well in the 8-ball division as well. Or Stefan Kasper won the 8-ball division, but he won the straight pool division.
Well, Max back in his chair after his break, Eric, and Jose will not be turning down this opportunity for sure.
Yeah, didn't make the corner ball that time. I think he hit it how he wanted and kind of, look a puzzlement on his face. One of his first breaks has kind of not gone his way, even though he hit it how he wanted. Now, whenever the 9's on the spot, they make it look easy when it goes good, but you're not talking about, having a template or a tap rack with the 1 on the spot. There still is a bit of variability in the results, as happened to Jose in the beginning of the set. I mean, we didn't really bring it up, but I think at the beginning of the set, he was just kind of catching the break a little thin. So it kind of led into that one illegal break and maybe the corner ball not reacting how it usually would. This is the most common break format, that we play in my area too. And we play with templates, not the tap rack, so it's even a little more consistent than a tap rack would be. But definitely like an element of difficulty when you're putting the 9 on the spot always.
Yeah, he's played that nice. And just tagging on from what you said there, you mentioned where you are. I did mention to the viewers on the introduction that this is the first match you and I have had the pleasure of commentating together on, and you have to excuse my ignorance, but where exactly are you? I know that you're somewhere over in the good US of A.
Oh, no, Ontario, Canada, actually. So kind of mid-eastern Canada.
My apologies.
No
Well, I'm
problem.
coming from a rather warm and sunny, unusually warm and sunny, springtime Amsterdam here in the Netherlands. And
okay. Well, we're on no snow here in Canada as of this time, but we're not really, in no jacket weather yet.
No, I understand. It just is incredible how it sounds like and feels like you're sat right next to me, being so far away.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just apologize once again for the delay, and apologize if my comments are off timing. But we'll figure it out by next round.
He's just finished a little bit straight. He can either hit it hard to punch, or I think he's going to run through. And he has played that nice, Eric, and he's not out of it yet. He's got a nice 9 to bring the score back to 8-5. Now Max is on the hill with this race to 9, but Jose turning another one against the break, Eric, and you never know, there could be a twist yet.
Yeah, I mean, it was really the beginning of the match here for Max when he pulled away, but you can see Jose's class. I mean, definitely capable when he gets the chances. And it'll be Jose to break in rack number 14, so bit of a chance to get closer here.
Yeah, definitely a chance to look to get closer. And you mentioned about Jose earlier on making it a little bit thin, and his break is quite soft, and you're going to lose a bit of power when you contact the balls thin. So I wonder if he listened to you at all, Eric. We'll find out now.
Huh.
Well, it's a legal break by the looks of it, and that 8-ball has slipped in the side pocket. I just think he is out of position on the 1-ball, Eric. It is looking tight if there is a gap. Maybe Maybe he can. Maybe he can jump over the edge. I'm not too sure here. We're going to have to watch what he does here, Eric. But a tricky opener for him off Jose's break.
Yeah, going to the jump cue. I mean, reasonable position. Nice shot.
Yeah.
Long one now for Delgado. Match kind of riding on this shot.
He made a little smile as if he knew it. It's like, well, of course it was going to be a long just off straight 2-ball to keep this run going.
Right.
So a little bit of levity, Eric. Great.
And it's actually really straight where he's going to have to power up to create any angle going to the right. Go time here for Delgado.
And jacking it up isn't going to make it any easier, Eric. And it might be just useful to point out these matches are being played under a shot clock here. And they each have 1 extension per player per rack. So you may hear them calling out their extension to the referee. What a great shot, Eric. That is positive looking stuff. And for Jose, that is a real confidence booster at this stage of the game.
Yeah, and really, as we were saying, match on the line, came with the goods here. Pretty straightforward out from here.
He is looking like he's getting a little spring in his step. Maybe he's starting to believe.
Yeah, good position for the last 5 balls now.
Yep. Doesn't want to be careless here. Really important point in our match here, and taking a little bit extra time, care and attention, and he's rolled that lovely round the angles, Eric, and this is good stuff from Jose.
Yeah, Max will have 2 breaks of the last 3 to kind of lock Jose out of any kind of winning position here. But he's done well to come back. I mean, let's not forget he was down 6-0 at one point.
Right, and Max, when he was sitting at 6-0 in front, was probably thinking he was going to be going off to an early lunch. However, Jose has other ideas about that and finds himself just trailing now by 8 frames to 6. However, Eric, it's alternate break. Mad Max is on the hill. With cue ball in hand, looking to break. So, hold on to your hat now, Eric. Let's see what Max can do.
Corner ball and 1 ball down.
Yep. A little look to the side from Delgado with that 2-ball and 3-ball tracing down with the cue ball. This has left Max with, well, not a certain opportunity, but he will be widening his eyes at the prospect if this too makes it into the center bag, Eric.
Yeah, he's just looking at the angle that the cue ball is going to come off the 2. Slight elevation.
Wow, he hit that with such authority, and especially into these Predator arc center pockets. They are very tight, and even though he hit it very hard, he's on the cushion for this 3, so a little bit more difficult cueing.
Yeah, had to be targeted perfectly there, and he did well. Really open table here. He's going to have to leave himself some distance on the 5.
Yeah, he's threaded that back up towards the center of the table nicely, and this is looking very good for Max here.
Extension.
Looks like he's made that perfect, Eric. How do you fancy this for your winning?
Yeah, he's looking good here. Strong performance from Max, taking advantage of a couple, small mishaps for Delgado at the beginning of the match, but really less than 3 mistakes over.